Welcome back to NH Unscripted. We are skipping the light fandango and turning cartwheels across the floor. Woo! Can you tell that I happened to see a video the other day about Procol Harum and the Whiter Shade of Pale? Mother of God, it tore my soul apart. I mean that sincerely. I am your Procol Harum-like host, Ray Dudley, and we are coming to you from the YMCA-like conditions of the WKXL studios in Concord. I can smell the chlorine from the pool right in the room. Break out your Walkmans, folks. Get those Sony Walkmans out. Take the tape out. It's time to use the radio part. You look, you'll see two bands on that Sony Walkman. 1450 AM, you'll find us on that AM band. And if you look on the FM band, you'll find us at 103.9 FM. That's Concord-based, both of those. 101.9 FM for the beautiful, beautiful people in Manchester. And yeah, we got a URL, duh. NHTalkRadio.com is the URL. I'll give you a little bit more info about what's happening out there later. Ooh, I need to thank my sponsor, Lakes Region Fence. Lakes Region Fence. You know Mother's Day's coming up, and I know you took a big hit, tax day, but you know what? It's time to gather the family around and have one of those family chats, right? Bring the kiddies in, tell them why they're not going to get anything for school. Tell mom why she's not getting anything at Mother's Day. And say, look, kids, look out there and see that World War II relic that we used to call a fence. It needs to go. It needs to go. Lakes Region Fence is our sponsor. LRFence.com is the link for them. You can go out there. They'll give you a free estimate. There's a button out there for that. And there are reams and 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 reams of photos out on their website that you can go out and just spend, go get yourself a pizza, you and mom and the kids, and just spend time out at LRFence.com. Perusing the site, looking at what your future could be. Enough of that! I have a few more things I need to chat about. Okay, folks, I tell you all the time, get out of the house. There's so much happening out here my God, I told you, I watched that Procol Harum video the other day. I was weeping last night. Honest to God, I had a hard time. But I love it. I love that raw, bare, soul-tearing stuff. Andrew has a play going up this weekend in Pittsfield, and it is called what, Andrew?
Getting Away with Murder.
I used to know that. Like 15 minutes ago, I knew it.
That's all right.
That's my old man brain. Go out and see it, folks. Go out. Go laugh. Go cry. Tom Lott and the group Actors Cooperative, they have their second weekend in Derry. They're doing the Trail to Oregon. That was the episode this morning. I'm telling you, go out. Go. And this Sunday, April 28th, New Hampshire Opera Idol. Now, everything I learned about opera, I learned from Elmer Fudd. Kill the wabbit, kill the wabbit. That's about all you're going to get out of me for that. And that's all I know about opera. But, come on, Sunday's going to be beautiful. Go, it's going to be at the Capitol Center for the Arts, New Hampshire Opera Idol. It's a competition where the audience will choose the winners. 3 p.m. $25 and the doors open at 2:30. Speaking of events... Finally, the old man has stopped talking. In the house today is Karen Bassett. Good morning.
Good morning.
And Alex Stoyle. Good morning.
Thanks for having us.
Now, how would you folks be in this studio? How did you come to... Oh, wait, one of you is from Wayfarer Coffee and the other's from Revelstoke Coffee. Is that correct?
You have got that part right.
Huh.
I don't know about all the other stuff you were just saying, but you have that part right.
You have my word. It is all up on the up and up.
And I got to say, now I'm a bit sidetracked because I'm on lakesregionfence.com, LR Fence. It's amazing. I mean, look at these fences.
Thank you,
sir. Are you kidding me?
Thank you.
I'm kind of in the market for a new fence myself.
Check is in the mail. Thank you.
We might need some fences for the coffee festival, actually. So, we might hit them up for a sponsorship, too.
Well, you'd be my first person to call them.
All right.
In a year, probably. Oh, Matt's going to kill me. Anyway, Karen Bassett is from Wayfarer Coffee, which I have got to say, I live up in Gilmanton, and whenever I go to Citizens Bank, I have to go over to Wayfarer Coffee, and I mean that sincerely. I mean that sincerely. I love it. I love the ambiance. I love everything about what's going on up there. And I don't know what those round chocolate kind of things are. My wife and
energy bites.
Thank you. We call them power pellets. But you know what? I'm addicted. I am addicted.
You're not the only one.
I went to the bank the other day. I took out $1,000, and she said, "What denomination?" I go, "Just as long as I have coffee money, and they're not going to have to break 100. I'm good." And so I went over. I got my coffee, got my power pellet, and I went home. And my wife said, "Why did you keep out that money?" I said, "What? Are you kidding me? Wayfarer's right there. How am I going to go to the bank and not go to Wayfarer? What the heck?" I need to apologize to Alex because I have not been to Revelstoke.
Well, it sounds like you get your coffee before you get to Concord, so
True.
It's okay. It's
True
all right.
that.
We'll go get you in one of these days, though.
Yeah. Actually, I've been over there because I think I knocked on your window, but it was late one day because I was trying to get you guys in here a little bit earlier. But this works out.
Gotcha. This is perfect. Yeah.
So, Wayfarer. Let's start with you, Karen. Sure. Can you give me a little bit? You're a co-owner.
Yep.
You are.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we've been open since 2015. I'm originally from Seattle, so coffee was on every corner.
Yeah.
So when I moved out here, there was about 11 Dunkin' Donuts, I think, on one block. Laconia, right within a few miles. So definitely had a hard time finding the coffee that I wanted. So I decided to start roasting it myself in the back of my home, selling it at farmers markets and to friends and family.
What?
Yeah, and I was a teacher up in Laconia. Then I had kids, stayed home, and in 2015 we decided to open a coffee shop right in downtown Laconia. And that was right before Laconia really started growing and taking off. And we are kind of really early on in that. So it's been really neat to see that town grow, that city grow throughout that and be part of that downtown community hub, which is really what we wanted.
And you've had some great expansion over there, too.
Yeah, so now we have two cafes. We have a Wayfarer marketplace with local goods and artists and all that stuff. We just moved into our offsite roasteries. We have a warehouse a couple blocks away, which allowed us to expand our seating in our downtown location. And this is the third year now of the coffee festival, so that's been kind of our next expansion too.
Hang on to that coffee festival. You're teasing me there. Wait, now you have a place over in Lakeport too. Is it Lakeport?
Yep, Lakeport, the other side of Laconia. We have another cafe there in the bottom of the newly restored Opera House.
Yeah,
the Lakeport Opera House. It's a really, really beautiful space, and
you get
that
a lot of
whole
business
area
down there. Is that
that whole area is starting to grow as well. There's some big, a new big development right on the other side of the street, and that has brought in a lot more businesses as well. So
that thing is huge over there.
Yeah.
That development. I don't know what they're building. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Really don't care. But it's huge.
Yeah, it is huge. They're doing a good job. It's really beautiful.
Alex,
my turn.
Yes, sir. Temporarily.
All right.
So Revelstoke. Why don't you give us the story about Revelstoke and how the title came about? And I want to ask you about your storefront over there on Main Street. But go ahead.
So
take it away.
So Revelstoke, we opened in 2018, and frankly, we lived in Concord, my wife and I, and we were kind of sick of having to drive all the way up to Laconia or all the way out to Milford or all the way down to Bedford for good specialty coffee.
You know, on 106 is a Dunkin's.
I know. But you know, we were looking for a little bit more of an elevated experience.
Really? Huh?
And no one.
Aroma Joe's didn't cut it, huh?
They didn't cut it. Not for us. No,
man,
we were looking for someone to do a pour over, you know. And there was really no one downtown doing coffee the way that we thought coffee should be done. Yeah. Every party we went to, every one of our friends was complaining about the lack of coffee shop. And every time we'd finish up with a farmer's market on Capitol Street, we would look at each other and be like, all right, it's time to leave town to go get a coffee.
Oh, my God.
So when our storefront popped up for, rent in late 2017, we jumped on it. We just knew that it was the perfect location and it had to be a coffee shop. So with no restaurant or coffee experience at all other than just being fans. My wife and I, she was my girlfriend at the time, we went out and we bought an espresso machine the next day. We started watching a lot of YouTube videos. We started taking
Love YouTube.
long trips to New York to look at every cafe for inspiration, and eventually opened up Revelstoke.
Put a pin in that one. Hang on. Put on your dancing shoes. We got to dance into a break. Woo! We haven't even got to the coffee festival yet. And can you tell I've had my coffee today? Yes. Pot number 2. Yes, I never gauge it by the cup anymore. You are listening to NH Unscripted. I am your happy to be out of bed host, Ray Dudley. We are coming to you from the Green Acres like digs of the WKXL studios in Concord. 1450 AM, 103.9 FM. And for the beautiful people in Manchester, 101.9 FM, and our URL proudly is nhtalkradio.com. We are talking coffee, and we're going to talk a lot more about coffee. I have a lot of questions. We'll be right back. Suck it to me. You are listening to NH Unscripted. I am your Rowan and Martin laughing like host, Ray Dudley. We are coming to you from the Taj Mahal-like digs of the WKXL studios in Concord. It is cavernous in here. It's crazy how much room we've got. We are talking about coffee. We have Karen Bassett and Alex Stoyle. Did I pronounce that?
You got it, yeah.
One's from Wayfarer Coffee, whom I really, really love. And the other is from Revelstoke. Did I say that right?
You got it right. Revelstoke Coffee. Yeah.
All right. I know. We have things we have to talk about. But do you both roast your own coffee beans?
We do.
Yeah.
You do.
We did not when we opened.
Yeah.
We were a multi-roaster serving coffees from a bunch of different shops from around the world. And during the pandemic, we decided to start roasting our own coffee, too.
So in the building...
They have a really cool coffee roaster.
Yeah.
Very unique.
Yeah,
they do? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, our roaster is very interesting, a very interesting piece of technology. It's called a bellwether, and it's all electric. It's a little bit lower on emissions for that reason. And it also doesn't require like a lot of the ventilation, a lot of the gas. Well, obviously, there's no gas hookup. So it's a really cool. It looks like a washing machine or something. It's right in our shop. A lot of people walk right by it and don't realize that it's a coffee roaster because it doesn't look like what people know is a coffee roaster. So.
Oh man, I have so many. I know we have things. Okay, I'm just going to be a little selfish here for a minute and talk about roasting coffee because I am fascinated by it. So is there do either of you have a preference as to where you buy your beans from and like what country and how green, and then how far do you take your roasting process? The floor is open.
Yeah.
Good question. For us at Wayfair, we love trying coffee from all over the world. I think that's one of the coolest parts about coffee is all coffee from different regions in the world is so different. And you're really getting different flavors, and you can take the roasting process and bring out a lot of sweetness in the coffee, some acidity. You can, depending on how you roast your coffee, you can really highlight different parts from that origin. So every coffee origin, whether it's somewhere in Central America, somewhere in Africa, usually around the equator because it needs warmer weather, every origin based on the terroir, wherever it's grown, brings different things into the coffee, just like wine, right? So when you taste wine, they're talking about what region was it from, what was grown in the same area, how high up in the mountains is it grown, like all of those different types of things. So I think what's pretty cool is any type of coffee that you bring into your roastery, you get to then take it and make it your own. So it can be different for every roast. So at Wayfair, we usually have a light, a medium, a dark roast. So that's taking the coffee and putting our own spin on it to be able to kind of meet people where they're at. Think of help them, guide them in what coffee they want to have, but it also is really fun to share the story about where the coffee comes from. So it's really important to us to be able to partner with distributors, like importers, who know the farms that those coffees are coming from, and having that transparency and be able to tell that story is also one of the fun parts about coffee.
We have 30 seconds left. Let's go to Alex. Just kidding. Just kidding.
So we a lot of what Karen said rings true for us too. We're always looking for the shortest path from farm to our roaster, and how we can really be transparent and open and know that the farmers who are growing this coffee, which is where 90% of the work to even get this coffee roasted and served happens at farms. So we want to make sure they're all being treated fairly. But the one thing that we do a little different at Revelstoke is everything that we do is a light roast. So we're really.
Oh, so I won't be going there.
Well, I think a lot of people have that, but it's only because you've been drinking bad coffee your whole life. And I think that the only way to get bad. Well, hold on. The only way to get bad coffee to taste like anything is to roast it dark. Then it tastes like fire, carbon, ash. So it tastes like something. But today we have access to all these beautiful coffees.
You're crushing me, man. You're crushing me.
Hold on. We have all these beautiful coffees from around the world. So we're trying to highlight the natural flavors of that. So I always compare it to a steak. If you have a really great steak and you roast it dark, it's going to taste
inedible.
Like it, right? Yeah. It's going to taste like burnt carbon, ash, flame, fire. Right. You're only tasting the heat at that point. If you take a nice steak and you give it a nice sear, but you leave the innards intact and you leave those nice juicy flavors, you're gonna taste that cow was fed right, that cow was treated right, and they produced a great piece of meat. Where if you could take an incredible Wagyu beef or the most terrible steak in the world and cook them both well done, and they'll both taste exactly the same. But if you do them both medium rare, you're going to taste a big difference. So that's where we're kind of headed, is showing people that there are big, bold, amazing flavors in light roast coffees that a lot of people haven't gotten before. Because if you have a bad coffee, you roast it light, it tastes like nothing. You roast it dark, it tastes like burnt. And people want to taste something. So we're kind of on a mission to show people that light roast coffees can be great too, and we will always be just roasting light.
Are you suggesting I stop getting my coffee at 7-Eleven?
I think you should drink the coffee you like. I think the best coffee
is 7-Eleven.
Is the coffee that you like. And I know, but I like when I first. My dad's a good example. I grew up in a house, as we almost all did, where it was all dark roast all the time because it was just how you tasted anything.
Stored in the freezer.
Just store it in the freezer.
Yeah.
And my dad, the first time I made him like a cup of like light roast specialty coffee, he was like, "Ugh, this is gross. This is sour. This doesn't taste right." And if you do that for 3 or 4 days in a row, you'll start to taste things you've never tasted before, and your eyes will be opened to everything coffee can be. It's a very diverse. I mean, Karen brought up wine. I believe there's something like 300 volatile compounds that make up the flavors in wine possible across all wines. There's 300. In coffee, there's 900. There's 3 times the amount of flavors
in a coffee bean.
Yes, possible in a coffee bean. It's a much more complex flavor. Yes.
My gosh. Okay, I know we need to talk about the Vestal. I know, but I just have so many questions. So many. Do either of you, is organic important to either of you, or is it like just a scam kind of thing? Organic beans, or
I wouldn't say it's a scam. I would say that it's more important for us to know the community and the practices and that farm is using, and making sure that what they're doing is impacting the community they're around. That is more important to me. A lot of these small farms are really, really, really tiny, and they're not going to be able to afford how much it's going to cost to get that organic certification.
Yeah.
So when you're working with really small farms, they may have that, they may have an opportunity if they join like a collective where it's a bunch of different farms bringing in their coffee to port. But that I would say is secondary to, we're not purchasing only organic coffee. There are some companies out there who do that, and that's awesome. But that's I would say, secondary to knowing where our coffee is coming from and having those practices vetted on site.
Yeah, exactly the same at Revelstoke too. We I'd say probably 50% of the coffees we do roast happen to be organic, but we never advertise it just because it does seem a little bit overblown for like it.
Yeah,
it's not.
that's why I asked.
In these small coffee farms, saying it's organic is not saying much. You could have a organic farm that's doing all the wrong things in a big scale, and you could have a beautiful little farm that's doing all the right things, and they just don't have the stamp. So,
do either of you have a preference of where yours come from? For the most part, do you find that, I don't know, let's just say New Englanders tend to enjoy something from, I don't even know.
Colombia.
Or Brazil, or,
Yeah.
you know.
Yep.
Do we tend to lean that way in our state, or are people pretty much open to whatever comes through the door?
I would say our coffee from Guatemala is pretty popular, and we bring that in a lot. It's pretty standard in what we have as far as part of our offerings. But we have a really nice, like, Papua New Guinea coffee. We've got some from Honduras. Like, there's just it's different every.
yeah,
I don't know. It's seasonal, so every time it's not like you're going to have that same coffee. It just is going to keep changing and changing and changing because coffee's a crop. So we kind of try to embrace the only consistency is change in coffee. So we're trying to celebrate those differences, celebrate those changes through what every shop is doing a little bit differently.
Do you both sell your own? I know you do at Wayfarer. I've seen the bags.
Yep.
Seriously?
I didn't even get my 30 seconds this time. I want to answer that
Rob,
question.
Did you
Rob.
see the tick that was going across your table?
Wait, did she say that?
A tick?
Hang on! You are listening to NH Unscripted. We're about to have a fire drill, I think. What the heck? We're coming to you from the, I don't want to say tick. Oh, my God. From the WKXL studios in Concord, 1450 AM, 103.9 FM, 101.9 FM for the folks in Manchester. NHTalkRadio.com is our URL. We got to find out about this tick. I'll be right back. Tambourines and elephants are playing in the band. Doot, 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 looking out my back door. Oh, I am your Creedence Clearwater Revival Lighthouse Ray Dudley. You are listening to NH Unscripted. We are talking coffee today. The folks from Wayfarer and the folks from, the folk from Wayfarer's here, Karen Bassett. The folk from Revelstoke, Coffee in Concord. Alex is here. Alex Stoyle.
Thank you.
All right. We went down enough rabbit holes. All right, so let's get to the festival. Who wants to talk about the history of the festival, how it started, why it even exists?
Sure. I'll talk about it.
Definitely Karen.
Yeah.
That's the voice of Karen.
Definitely Karen. Yeah.
So our company, Wayfair, has always wanted to push outside the walls of our business into our community. So we wanted to be a hub for the community, for them to gather, but we also wanted to have an impact in our community and use coffee to bring people together. Coffee is, enjoyed sitting next to a friend, a family. It's, for business meetings, clients, all of that stuff. So there's a coffee for everyone, and we love that. And we think that there's a growing scene of coffee here in the Northeast, and there's been some really neat growth in that area. And one thing that's interesting about coffee is there's this worldwide specialty coffee association that puts on this crazy event every year. And it's very industry focused. It's a trade show. There's thousands of people there. There's equipment vendors, there's service providers, there's roasters, there's competitions and all of that. Very much industry focused. So what we wanted to do was create an event where it was bridging the gap between coffee professionals and coffee consumers. So kind of a hybrid event of that sort. So we had this idea after going to many types of coffee conferences and workshops, seeing the value of learning and continuing to grow as a professional and as a member of your community. And we kind of came up with this event where you had the educational part, which was accessible to professionals and consumers. So if you had no experience in coffee, you could learn. If you were experienced in coffee, you would definitely have some takeaways, and we would have some advanced classes. But there was also this community component where we wanted to use coffee to bring communities together. So creating an opportunity to have vendors, food trucks, live music, and basically make it be this amazing festival vibe is what we also tried to combine with it. So there's a whole bunch of free areas and a whole bunch of the education's all a paid ticket. So that was kind of the vision back in 2019. And then we really thought we were going to have this festival in 2020. So, you know, minor detail, that didn't happen. So we kind of put it on the back burner and we're in survival mode like the rest of the world.
Yeah.
But that was still percolating, pun intended.
Got ya.
In the
She'll be here all week, folks.
Oh yeah, in our minds, in our business, and on our team, and we were able to finally put it together in 2022 in Laconia, New Hampshire, and it was awesome. It was such a hit. We had the privilege of partnering with Alex and Lindsay at Revelstoke for the Latte Art Throwdown, which is this really fun community competition where, you know, they pour all those really cool designs in lattes.
Make the little leaves and all that
Yep.
stuff.
So there are these throwdowns that happen all over the place. What? And this is something live on stage that we have these Latte Art Throwdowns. So that was our first interaction with Alex. I mean, we knew them before, but our first partnership in the festival. And they put on a great show.
It was a lot of fun.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
And so we did it for a second time we had about 3,000 people the first year. The second year we did it in Laconia.
Wait.
Yeah.
3,000 people?
Yeah.
In Laconia?
In Laconia.
How did I miss this?
It was crazy.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I think
better than expected.
3,000 people?
Yeah, going into it, I don't think either one of us, and I mean, you guys had a much more of a finger on the pulse. We were just doing the throwdown, Lindsay and Revelstoke, myself. But we were all, I could see it in your face when we were finished. We were all like blown away.
What just happened?
Yeah, we all kind of underestimated how crazy and popular it would be.
I can't get my head around that number. I know where you'd put them all. Downtown.
Right,
that was just the first year.
That was the first year.
Yeah.
Last year was about 5,000.
What?
Yeah, 5,000 people. Tons of people. I mean, outside was just hopping. We had all these vendor areas. We had live music at the Belknap Mill. We had education at the Colonial Theater, and it was a hit. Like, classes were jam packed. People coming to go through the ritual of coffee tastings, which is this very professional. I'd call it a ritual, which is kind of how you describe it, but it really is a coffee tasting. So you're going through this whole process to smell the aroma of dry coffee. Then you're going to put water in it, and then you're going to wait a certain amount of time, and then you're going to try it again, and then you're going to scrape off the top, and then you're going to taste it and get it all over your mouth like you would a wine tasting, and maybe spit it, And people were eating it up, like consumers, professionals. I think last year we had 19 contributors, so coffee professionals from all over the Northeast.
What?
Coming to
Wait. 19. Where are these people coming from? How do they?
All over. I mean, coffee community is so well connected. It is a global industry.
Yeah.
It is more connected than people think. We're just in our isolated towns.
Are these
and cities
all
here in New
independent
England.
roasters? I mean,
Some independent roasters, some
was
importers.
Dunks?
No,
What?
they were not in the
Aren't
first couple
we
years.
snobby? Yes, we are.
Actually, they are a little involved this year. So that's part
I take
of
that back. Then
that's a part of our I wouldn't say our mission maybe in writing, but our mission as a festival in Concord especially is to be approachable. I think a lot of times
accessible, approachable.
the specialty coffee industry gets kind of a snooty reputation, like
well-deserved, I might add.
I do too. I think so. I think so. Absolutely. If you go into New York, coffee shop in New York, it's like the barista acts like you're annoying them, and like your questions are stupid, and they're not. And we need to get over that because
doesn't fly here for sure.
No, it doesn't fly here at all. We need to be welcoming, and we want to educate people and to to show people what we love so much about coffee.
My God.
So to have not only all these cool educational events going on that are really high end with educators who are
which is 40 this year.
And
20 last year, 40.
And most of the time, you're going to be paying a lot more than you're paying at the coffee festival to have education from these people, by the way. But you have all this, and outside you've got like food trucks, and you've got coffee tastings, and you've got things that are just approachable. Like come, if you think like your reaction to light roast coffee was, oh, gross, which I think is most people, right? That's most people. And so I think we want to show people, look, we have so many people come into Revelstoke and they say, give me a dark roast. And we say, we'll give you the darkest thing we got. We give it to them. The next day they come and they say, why was that the best dark roast I've ever had? And we're like, well, it's because it wasn't a dark roast. We didn't have the heart to tell you yesterday, but we'll tell you now it was a light roast. And then it's a conversation because we have found common ground. They like the thing we like, and we can tell them maybe why.
Oh, man. Rabbit hole number 1,352. You have at least 3 venue places, right? You have Red River Theater, Hotel Concord, and the Bank of New Hampshire stage. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you need 3? What's taking place at each of those? And I'm so glad that you said education, because we do not connect the word education with coffee. Right? We just go, we order it, and we're in, we're out. We're all busy people. But already, just the fact that he's trying to get me to go to light roast, we'll see if that happens.
He's pretty convincing.
I should have brought you some.
But the education part, what are people going to find out? So the Red River Theater, there's a movie or something there, Coffee Breath, if I remember correctly.
Yep, at Red River Theater, we are hosting a screening of a new coffee series called Coffee Breath. It is based in Portland, Oregon, and the producer, Double J Johnson, is coming out to do a live Q&A during the episodes. So at this point there's 4 episodes, and I know they want to be on TV sometime. Right now it's on YouTube, but he's going to come. We're going to have tons of giveaways from his sponsors. We're going to have beer tastings. We're going to have a showing, and then the live Q&A. So that's going to be we're going to have a couple sessions during the weekend with the live Q&As, and then some additional screenings as well. So that's what the Red River Theater is for, and I love that venue so much. They are just great, wonderful partners. It's a beautiful theater. It's such a hidden gem here in Concord, and it's a privilege to be able to highlight that venue. At Hotel Concord, we'll tell you in a minute.
Hang on!
We'll be right back. I always want to do a Dr. Phil. Hold that thought, Karen. We'll be right back.
You are listening to NH Unscripted. I am your host, Ray Dudley. I'm the one wearing the bunny slippers. We are coming to you from the digs, the bunkers of the WKXL studios, deep in the heart of Concord. 1450 AM, 103.9 FM for the Concord folks, 101.9 FM for the beautiful people in Manchester, and our URL is nhtalkradio.com, and we are deep in the weeds on coffee. Be right back. Mama, we are one toke over the line. Sweet Jesus. I am Ray Dudley, your coffee-drinking host. You are listening to NH Unscripted, and we have a barn burner today. Honest to goodness, we are talking all things coffee. We are coming to you from the Water Country Lake digs of the WKXL studios in Concord. 1450 AM, 103.9 FM. And for the beautiful souls in Manchester, we love you. Can you feel it down there? 101.9 FM. And our URL, where you can find the archives of this show, plus all the other great shows that take place here at WKXL, is nhtalkradio.com. There's a button there where you can listen live, and this show comes to you every Wednesday and Friday morning at 9 a.m. But you knew that because you're lucky. Okay, we got to get a lot in this next segment. We are talking about the Northeast Coffee Festival that will be taking place in Concord. When?
Hold
trick
on.
question.
So,
trick question.
So before we get to that,
yes,
because we've been running out of time really quickly on these segments, and
yes.
He wants to start this one.
Karen and I just we really need to. Probably the most important part of the festival is all the people who make it happen.
Okay,
and it's not just Karen and Wayfair or Revelstoke. It's a laundry list of like huge sponsors, and
like
they
who?
really are just the people who allow us to do it.
And so many right here in Concord, which is
crazy.
Incredible. The city has just come around us so much.
So
and
you would consider this a local
it.
event.
Mm-hmm.
Totally,
absolutely.
Yeah, I think Karen has been pleasantly surprised, and I think we tried to tell her, we're like, you don't understand, like the city's going to love this event. And I think the city's been putting their money where their mouth is and really welcoming the festival with open arms.
Yeah,
so,
it's really neat to see sponsors come in, like just investing in these community events to make Concord a place you want to be.
Yes. Yeah. So just quickly, Binny Media, Capital Center for the Arts right downtown, Chobani, the city of Concord itself is a big sponsor, Eastern Propane, Grapponi, huge, couldn't make it happen without them. La Marzocco, the state of New Hampshire, visit nh.gov, Sure Shot Espresso, and Xfinity have just been all indispensable partners for us, and just huge shout out to all of them who may be listening. We love you all.
Yes, thank you.
So are we talking, is this a one-day event?
This is a 2-day event. So we used to have it be 1 day of education. Now we have 2 days of education. So there are 40 educational sessions. And what that includes at Bank of New Hampshire Stage and Hotel Concord and Red River Theater are hands-on workshops, espresso, milk steaming, hand brewing, all sorts of tea workshops.
Tea workshops,
Yeah, a whole lineup of tea workshops, which is going to be incredible. We've got panels with all of these industry professionals sharing their story, and that's a huge part of us, is sharing our stories and how we're all different, but how we're all connected through coffee, which is really cool. We have the screenings that we mentioned earlier. We also have coffee cuppings, which are those coffee tastings. So we have multiple different sessions for those tastings. So you can have 2 full days of education for like $85. Which is wild. One of these classes, if you would have gone somewhere else, are hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars to do this. So the partnership with all of these coffee professionals to come together to provide this elevated educational experience is top-notch and incredible.
And to have it in one place. I mean, a lot of times you might have to travel 5 hours to take one class, and that's it.
Right.
And you got to go to New York and take one class. And
so the investment in your team is incredible. And if you, again, don't have any experience in coffee, if you brew all of your coffee at home, we can teach you. We can help you make it better.
What are you talking about? I go to my Mr. Coffee, 12-cup coffee machine. I hit the on switch. Coffee comes out.
We love it.
How much more education can I need than that?
Ray, I'm glad you're happy.
I am happy. Bunny slippers. What would, when you say education, and I know you quickly rattled off like milk steaming, beyond me, and I don't even, what else could I need to know? What questions will they get answered if they go to these?
So we have a lot of customers coming into our shop and are like, we buy your coffee. We know it's high quality. You roast it. You told us which one to get. We cannot make it taste good at home. And so we can say we can help you with that. And these home brewing classes specifically are probably some of the most popular classes we have at the festival, most well attended because it is very consumer based for sure.
Yeah.
So you're learning the difference between different grinders that you may have. If you have a grinder, why grinders are the most important, where your coffee is coming from, what ratio of coffee to water that you should be using to make
on
it.
Amazon today. I know it. I'll be out there.
I know, you got to get a grinder.
Oh, my God.
Why would you go on Amazon? You come right to Revelstoke, Ray. We'll hook you up. Yeah,
you
we got
grinders down there?
We got grinders.
Oh,
We've got
yeah.
brewers. We've got kettles. Oh, yeah. Scales and everything.
You're going to up my game?
Oh, yeah.
Holy
Yeah.
Toledo.
Yeah. So there, tons of workshops like that. So wherever you're at in your coffee journey, there's something for you.
Yeah.
Oh, man, you guys. Okay, first of all, before we get lost, I need a URL.
northeastcoffeefestival.com.
Rolls right off the tongue. Ticket prices are?
One-day ticket prices, either Friday or Saturday, are $55 plus taxes, fees, whatever, all that stuff, fun stuff.
Okay.
And then 2-day pass, a full access pass for both Friday and Saturday, is $85. Taxes, fees, whatever.
And a
all that stuff.
one-day pass will get you into everything? Or is
Everything
it
inside. So we
inside?
definitely should talk about the huge part that Alex and Lindsay from Revelstoke are putting on as our city hosts. That is their title, which is awesome. And that's the Outdoor Community Market, the Bank of New Hampshire Outdoor Community Market.
Completely free. Like if you walk down, we're going to have Main Street closed from the co-op parking lot to Center Street. I'm sorry, to Pleasant Street. And that's just it's a one block area that'll be closed to traffic. It'll be our community marketplace, and
You convinced the city to let you close down that whole block?
we did,
Yeah.
We're closing down that block. We've got nice detours set up going around, and that's going to be completely free. You can just walk right out of your office, walk downtown. You don't need to buy a ticket. Come get lunch. There's going to be a bunch of food trucks down there. There's going to be people doing coffee tastings. There's going to be people selling coffee. There's going to be a couple coffee roasters. There's going to be a couple tea booths out there. As well as some of our sponsors will have booths out there giving away free stuff and having activities for kids. We've got live music
All day
Oh my gosh,
long.
all day
Crazy.
long.
This is like summer days. Have you been to the summer days?
It is. It's
Yeah,
kind of
we
like
love
a
it.
mini market days kind of thing, but really focused on having some tie back to coffee. That's the goal, is having a little bit more of a theme.
So you said first year you had 3,000, and then the next year you had 5. What is your anticipation this year?
Since we're expanding it
1
2 days,
million.
1 million. Since we're expanding it to 2 days,
God, I love them.
We are estimating between 6,000 and
Same.
8,000 people over the 2 days.
6 to 8,000. That's a 6 with 3 zeros and an 8 with 3 zeros of people coming in for coffee
Yep.
in Concord.
Yeah. It's wild. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be really fun.
It's going to be the place to be.
Yeah.
Okay, a little tangent here. What goes good with coffee? So you're going to be...
What doesn't go good with
Oh my God, I
coffee?
love pizza and coffee. I'm not
Oh!
kidding. Tacos and coffee. Tacos and coffee is a great combination. But obviously all the croissants and pastries, those are the obvious ones. But
Is it true that fat on the tongue enhances the oils and stuff in the coffee and makes it taste better?
Sure. I think it's all a matter of
He's
preference.
too easy. He's
Yeah.
too easy.
No,
he just rolls
It is
over.
so true that it is a matter of preference. And
Yeah.
that's the whole thing, is we want to meet you where you're at, right? In your coffee journey, whatever
Crullers.
that is.
I'm a cruller
Find it.
eater. I'm
Yeah.
from New England.
Absolutely.
The crullers.
Yeah.
That's what the...
There's a little something for
Duh.
everyone.
Big
So-
cruller guy.
What do you anticipate to be the most attended class, event?
I mean, that latte art throwdown is
Probably
going to
the
be
throwdown. Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
And the throwdown is the only exception to an indoor event. It's at the Bank of New Hampshire stage on
Yeah.
the main stage, and it's completely free.
4 p.m.
So, yeah.
on Saturday.
It's free?
Yep.
Free.
So anyone can walk into the stage after we close up all the other events and attend the latte art throwdown.
You know it'll be packed.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
going to be turning people away.
I hope so.
There's
Yeah.
no way that you can get that many people who love coffee and are going to see this contest taking place. There's no way that you're going to get them all in there.
We certainly hope not. We hope that we have to.
I'll bet
We
you
hope we're
do.
sold out
Yeah.
for
I'll
sure.
bet you do.
Yeah.
So how many people will be in the competition?
So we're shooting. I mean, it's really
It's just like an
easy.
invitational, it's like the big baristas.
It's not an invitational. Anyone can enter, and we've had
Wait,
some
wait,
people.
wait. What do you mean anybody? I could walk in and just...
You could, yeah. I mean,
but...
I would love you to, because it would give people a good baseline of how hard it is.
Oh, my God.
Anyway, anyone can enter, and it's easy when we have like a group of 64, 32, 16, because
Yeah.
then it's a nice bracket. But anyway, is that it?
Yeah.
Do we have to say goodbye?
I
Oh my
feel like
God!
we nailed it.
Give me your URLs and your names again. Go.
NortheastCoffeeFestival.com. I'm Karen Bassett from Wayfarer Coffee Roaster.
I'm Alex from Revelstoke Coffee. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you
And
so much.
I
It's been fun.
am Ray Dudley. You're happy to be out of the home host. You are listening to NH Unscripted, coming to you every Wednesday and Friday morning at 9 a.m. Folks, get out of the house. You see what's going on in this city? Come on, get out. Smile, laugh, cry. Anyway, that's it. We talked about...
Happy tears.
Yes, thank you. See you next time.